Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Today is Monday, May the 11th, I believe. Yep, it's Monday, May the 11th. Hoping everybody is having a blessed day so far. It's cold up here in Michigan. Um, Still feels like fall. Really, spring can get here any day now. That would help. I would like to take my winter coat off. I'm getting to that. I'm getting ready to do um 10 reasons not to move to Michigan. I'm doing that video. It's coming up. That's one of the reasons. But before I do that video, um, this is actually going to be a rant. This is going to be a rant um, about racism. I try not to talk about racism too much. Now, like I always say, um, my number one motto on here is I keep it 100. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And so I'm going to tell it like it is, but at the same time, I don't want to beat you guys over the head with constantly talking about racism all the time. I mean, there's some channels where that's like their whole platform, and they talk about racism, and they have some pretty good content actually, um, and that's pretty much their whole content, pretty much. But here I like to change it up and talk about a variety of things. I like to talk about a variety of topics and a variety of things. And I don't like to talk about any one subject too much because I don't want to just beat you guys over the head with it. But at the same time, I want to keep it 100 with you. And because, like I said, I'm not here to sugarcoat. I'm gonna keep it 100, and I'm gonna tell it like it is. So I don't believe in that. I believe in telling it like it is. And I was a little angry earlier because um, I've been hearing about some now. We know that this coronavirus is um, pretty much taking over the whole world. A lot of this quarantine and all the things that's going on surrounding this coronavirus situation. Now, you would think during this time, now, I did a video talking about, if you check it out, Matthew 24, talking about Bible prophecy. Now that I've mentioned in that video and some other videos that now this is Bible prophecy. This pandemic that we have going on right now, this is Bible prophecy. It's playing out right before our eyes, pretty much. Everybody's surprised because we've had other pandemics. This is not the first one. I've actually been doing a little research about the Spanish flu, and I wanted to know how long that went on. And actually, the Spanish flu went on for 2 years. So this thing could go on for a while. This thing could go on. This thing can kind of get this virus can this can kind of be dragged out a little bit. The Spanish flu went on for 2 years before they got it under control, and they lost millions of people. You know, so we pray. What we do is we pray and we hope it doesn't go on that long. We hope and pray that it doesn't go on that long, but um, we hope and pray that they can get it under control before that, but it could. This is a possibility that it could go on that long. Um, we in our last days. Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. If you didn't believe in the Bible before, I suggest you start believing in it now, because everything that the Bible's talking about is actually coming to pass, and it's happening right before our eyes. It's literally Bible prophecy being played out before our eyes. So everybody's surprised because this is the first pandemic of our generation, because the Spanish flu was like the early 1900s. I thought it was the 1800s, but I had to Google, do a little bit of research. The Spanish flu was actually happened in the early 1900s. So and I think that was the last huge pandemic. I mean, we had SARS and we had H1N1, which coronavirus is like a form of that. It's a form of it, but it's a different strain. But they was able to get those others controlled. under control, but this is our first major pandemic. This is our first major pandemic of our generation, because most people wasn't born early 1900s. Um, so I mean, you know, so I didn't come along to the late 60s, so most people wasn't born, at that time period. So it's safe to say that this is the first major pandemic of our generation. So this is, um, throwing everybody for a loop, and all that. But if you know the Bible, if you have full knowledge of the Bible and you're an avid Bible reader, you would know that this is Bible prophecy being fulfilled, and it's being played out literally before our eyes. So you would think, in other words, the, the point what I'm getting at is that I would like to think that this is the time, because of this pandemic going on, and we had to be quarantined and all this, and we're losing a lot of people. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are getting sick, and a lot of people are losing family members. They're losing loved ones to this horrible virus. You would think that this would be an opportunity for a lot of people to, because a lot of people got more time at home because they got everything is closed down. So a lot of people are spending more time at home, and you would think that this would be the opportunity for, let's say, this opportunity people spend time with their families. Yes, it's an excellent time for people to connect and spend time with their families, but it's also a time for spiritual um, reflection. It's a time for spiritual reflection. It's a time for people to maybe get more into reading their Bibles, try to make some spiritual sense of all this. Um, Maybe try to make some spiritual goals, getting a close relationship with God. If they got some things that they need to change, change their lifestyle. If some changes, they got some changes that they need to make in their life, or some changes that they need to make within themselves. This is a good time to be trying to do this change. You would think that a lot of people would be working on themselves spiritually. Time to spend time with your family, but you would think that people would be working on themselves spiritually during this time, because Jesus, he's just around the corner. Um, it won't be long before this system is going to come to an end. It won't be long. Read your Bible. Read your Bible. It's in the scriptures. Don't take my word for it. Don't never take my word for it. Don't take Jehovah's Witnesses' word for it. Read it for yourself. It's right there in the Bible. You know, read it for yourself. It's in the scriptures. But like I said, you would think this would be a time for people to get it. If you if you was dealing with some certain feelings, or you were a certain way before, maybe this would be a good time for you to make some changes. If you were racist before, maybe this would be time for you to, reflect on that, and read your Bible and realize, okay, that's not a good way for me to be. I want to make some changes. But I don't know. You would like to think anyway, you know. But this pandemic is bringing out the worst in people. It's bringing out. It's a lot of blessings. It's a lot of blessings that's coming out of it, and it's a lot of good things and a lot of positive things that's coming out of it, and a lot of blessings are coming out of it. But on the flip side, it's bringing out the worst in some people. It's like this poor guy got killed. He was a guard in Family Dollar stores. I forget what city it was in, and he got killed because he told the people to put on a mask, and they killed him. He was only trying to keep them safe. He was only trying to protect them and everybody else in the store. He was only doing his job, and he was trying to protect them and keep them safe and everybody else in the store. And he asked them to put on a mask, and they killed him. Who does that? I mean, who does that? Who does it? But that poor guy, say he had a family. My heart and prayers go out to his family. It's really sad. He had to die for that reason. It's just crazy. And all kinds of terrible things is happening. It's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of good things happening, but it just, like I said, you would think that this would be the time for people to make changes, much needed changes, necessary changes in their life, but it just seems to be having the reverse effect on some people. It's actually having for a lot of people, for some people that might be the case. For some people it might be the case, but then for other people it's like having the reverse effect. They're worse than what they were before. So yeah, I guess it's either going to bring out the best in people, or it's going to bring out the worst in people. This pandemic is either bringing out the best in people, but at any rate, they're being revealed to God. If you're, however, what kind of heart condition you have, whatever you got going on in your heart, it's being revealed to God at this time. Put it that way. So you would think that racism would be the last thing on people's agenda right now with everything that we got going on with this. We got so much going on with this. People are concerned about their health. A lot of people are losing loved ones. People are trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills because they got laid off their job. Some people lost their jobs. So you would think that, you know, it's a lot going on right now, and you would think that people would be focused on those things, and it would be a time of reflection for a lot of people and everything. And you would think racism would be the last thing on the agenda. I mean, you would think racism would be the last thing on people's mind, be, being that everything we got going on. But it just seems like we're quarantined. But racism ain't quarantined. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, racism is still alive and well. And, like this case I heard about, they shot this young man was out having a jog. Now, I'm going to say allegedly because I seen something the other day that said that, he, uh, I don't know. I'm not going to really go into it because I'm not really sure. But I'm going to say allegedly he was jogging in a neighborhood and two white guys thought it was okay to kill him. I don't know the whole story surrounding that, you know. Um, so they're just basically trying to get, I think his name was Aubrey something. They're trying to get justice for him. I'm going to say allegedly he was jogging in the area because I don't 100% know what went on. But anyway, I don't think he deserved to die. He didn't deserve to die. Regardless whether he's innocent or guilty, he didn't deserve to die. He deserved, if he did break into a home, he deserved due process like anybody else. I don't, he didn't deserve to die. You know, so and then another young man, he was literally got killed on Facebook Live, and I guess this happened in Indianapolis. He was killed by the police on Facebook Live. Once again, I don't know the whole. I think he was involved in the police chase or whatever, but that doesn't mean that he deserved to die. Um, so I'm just, and what's really upsetting me right now is that what's going on in China. Um, the black people, I guess, apparently there was some black people that was living in China. Um, for whatever reason, they're living there, for whatever reason. And now the Chinese, the people, the, the they want to deflect. They know that the virus came from there. They know that. Now they want to deflect and try to act like black people are spreading the virus. You know. So I guess maybe I don't know if they're looking at our news reports and they're seeing that there is a lot of black people that are dying from it. So I don't know, they being ignorant and trying to say that black people are trying to spread the virus. So they're banning black people from businesses. They've been putting black people out of their homes. They've been evicting them from their apartments and their homes. And a lot of black people have been on the streets. And they're really, the black people right now in China have to really endure some serious racism. We should keep our prayers up for them because, you know, um, I think that they should get back here as soon as they can. You know, I'd try to be on the first thing smoking out of there if it was me. I took China off my bucket list. China was on my bucket list. I don't know about you guys, but I have a bucket list. I haven't actually wrote it down, but it's up here. I have a bucket list of all the things that I want to do before I kick the bucket. China was, because in traveling out is one of the things I like to do. I want to do some traveling. Well, China was on the list of places that I always wanted to visit. Well, needless to say, I took China off my bucket list. They can keep China. I'm not finna go to China. I'm not going to visit China. They can keep China. I'll go on Google Earth and look at China. I'll visit China on Google Earth. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to get. They can keep China. I'm not going there. I'm not certainly not going to be going over there eating that food. You know, I loved and I, on the flip side, I love Chinese food. I love Chinese food as much as I do soul food. But I learned how to cook it myself, you know. And so a lot of black people saying they don't want to support the businesses here in the United States. But I mean, it's not the Chinese people here. Some of them are. Some of them are being discriminatory towards black people when they own the hair shops and things like that. And I'm not saying all of them, but some of them here in the United States are being discriminatory. And a lot of black people are saying stop supporting them. They're saying stop supporting their businesses and stuff if that's the way they want to treat us. So I'm just, I was just ranting to myself this morning um, about. I'm just so sick of this. I'm so sick of. I'm over this racism thing. It's like well, people. This is the year 2020, and it's the same thing year after year after year after year. It's the same thing, and I'm just over it. I'm over this racism. It's like, you know, my thought is I didn't ask to be born black. Sure, every black person, if you ask them the same question, did they ask to be born black? They're gonna be like, no, we didn't ask to be born black. Why are we being? I just don't get it. I mean, I'm almost 53 years old, and there's still a lot of things I don't understand. There's a lot of things I do understand, but there's still a lot of things I don't understand. And I'm just over it. I'm just over racism. I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of black people getting treated this way. I'm sick of people looking at me and instead of getting to know me before you judge me, you want to judge me based on the fact that I'm a black woman. You know, regardless of whether it's a white person or a black person or whatever. It's like get to know me first and then form an opinion about me. So I'm just over this. I'm over racism. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of every time I turn on the news. I want to hear it, especially during this time, during this pandemic when it's so much going on right now and we got so many other things that we got to deal with. Now we got to worry about black people got to worry about being killed. They beat some guy up in Manhattan. I think it was no Brooklyn. It's either Brooklyn or Manhattan, New York. They beat some guy up, some black guy up over there. The police beat him up because he wasn't following the social distancing. Are you serious? I'm like, are you serious? Really? Are you serious? So black people get beat up now because we're not following social distancing. Then they said they was discriminating against black men for not because black men they say we all got to wear masks. Some places of business don't even want to let you come in the store. I know our store, our Target here, they don't even want to let us in unless we have a mask. There's some places they got a sign on the door saying you need to have a mask on before you enter the store. Okay, now it's becoming a requirement for us to wear masks before we even go into a store. Okay, now why are they thinking black men is up to no good because they see a black man with a mask on, they thinking he's up to no good. Are you serious? Yeah, black men are being discriminated against because they're wearing the mask. Something that we all have to wear. Are you serious? So it's every excuse in the book to discriminate. It's every excuse in the book to kill a black man. It's every excuse to mistreat a black man and a black woman. Black women too. We gotta deal with it too. It's every excuse in the book to discriminate against black people, to beat and mistreat black people. And I'm over it. I'm tired of it. It's like, you know, they say, well, that's the way things are and everything. Well, yeah, I get that, but that doesn't mean it's unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable. You know, This is the year 2020. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't even be dealing with this right now, especially during this major pandemic. Everybody got a lot of things that they're dealing with, and it's just ridiculous. I'm just ranting to myself earlier about this, and I'm just over this racism thing. I'm tired of it. It's like I'm tired of it. It's like I didn't ask to be born black. I'm sure if you ask the rest of the black people, they didn't ask to be born black. They'll say the same thing, that they didn't ask to be born black. Okay, we didn't ask to be born black. I didn't ask to be. I didn't say, "Oh God, could you make me black?" By the way, could you make me black? I didn't ask to be born black. The mere thought that people get mistreated because of the way they look, people get treated differently in this country because the way they look, you know, it's just appalling to me. It's just appalling to me. And some black white people, now some white people will stand up, will stand up and say that's wrong, that's not right. I admire them. I take my hat off of them. But then you got some white people that want to be in denial. They say, well, I'm not like that, and they want to go and they don't want to admit that there's a problem. Well, you know what? I say when you're like that, you're part of the problem. They're part of the problem when they're like that, in my opinion. You don't want to acknowledge the fact that there's racism and stuff like that. The playing field is not level. So I was kind of ranting to myself earlier. Now I'm ranting. I'm taking that rant and I'm letting you guys know I'm ranting on here that I'm just over it. I'm over it. This is ridiculous. We are human beings. We are human beings. We deserve to be treated with respect. If a black person commits a crime, they deserve due process. In other words, just like you would give any other race that does something, you know, they deserve due process. You take them to jail, and you try them in front of the jury, and go due process as they call it. You don't shoot them before they even get to jail, before they were even convicted of doing anything, if they did anything at all. That's not justice. That's not justice. It's not okay. I have two black sons. I too have two black sons, and I'm scared to death for the police to stop them. My son, my youngest son, got into an altercation. This happened a few months ago. He got stopped by the police, and he has a little bit of a temper. I keep trying to talk to him. My youngest son has a little bit of an anger problem, and I keep talking to him, telling him, man, you got to be slower to anger. And they got stopped by the police, and he felt like they were being profiled and they were being stopped for no reason. And he got a little upset with the police officer, and he wound up being put in jail. I said, do you realize that could have been worse? Do you realize that cop could have killed you? Because he kind of popped off at the police. I said, Edmund, you got to learn to control your anger, man. So I had to constantly talk to him. I have to talk to him more so than my other son, because actually my other son, some of the police officers, he has a little rapport around here with them, but he's a little bit slower to anger. My youngest son, he's quick tempered, and he's got an anger issue. So I have to keep talking to him, and I have to keep telling him, man, you got to learn to get your anger under control. You have to be slower to anger. I said that cop could have killed you. They winded up arresting him because he kind of popped off at the police a little bit. I said, no, you can't be doing that. And my thought is they better not harm a hair on his head. Okay? Because if they do, I'm not gonna stop until justice is done. Okay? I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to make sure that justice is served. They better not harm a hair on my son's head. Okay? But at the same time, my son needs to learn to conduct. He needs to learn to conduct himself. I say, me and my older son went over this with him. You got to learn how to conduct yourself when you do get stopped by the police. I got racially profiled. I did a video on that 2 years ago. It's way back. You guys find it, good luck with you, because this is way back in my archives. I got racially profiled one time. where my neighbor got robbed and they stopped me. Literally, I've been sitting in the house all day, to make a long story short. Left the house and they stopped me around the corner and tried to accuse me and my son of robbing my neighbors that happened to be white. And that was at when my oldest son has an apartment, and my youngest son had stayed all night at my oldest son's house. After that, he went to work. So he hadn't been home all night or all day. Me, I had been sitting in the house all day. This happened on a Saturday, and I goes getting ready to go to the store. I pulls around the corner. The cops stop me. I was like, "Why you stopping me, man?" They try to accuse me and my son of robbing my white Caucasian neighbors, because they said, I guess they said, "Oh well, check her next door because her son." Ooh, I was mad. I was mad, but I had to stay cool, calm, and collected. To make a long story short, like I said, I did a video talking about it, but it's like 2 or 3 years ago. Good luck trying to find that. But I'm trying to make a long story short. I was I was I was highly upset and appalled. And then they wanted to do something illegal, like search my house without a search warrant. And thank God I know my rights. I said, "Don't you have to have a search warrant to search my house?" You have a search warrant to search my house. You cannot search my house without a search warrant. Then they lied and said that my neighbors consented to a search. No, they didn't. Needless to say, when I got robbed back in 2017, I got robbed. I went to LA, came back home. My house was robbed. They didn't investigate it. They never investigated. When black people get robbed, they never investigate it. But when my white neighbors got robbed, they decided they wanted to comb the neighborhood. See how that narrative changes? When things happen to them, it's a whole different situation. See? But when I get robbed, which I've been robbed since in this house a couple times since I've been here, they just file a police report and that's it. They don't they don't question the neighbors. My neighbor got robbed. They didn't come over and question me. When black people get robbed, they don't care. They don't care what happens to us. But when something happens to them, it's a whole different ball game. See, they did an extensive investigation and wanted to question every person in the neighborhood when these white people got robbed. But we don't get the same due process when we get robbed. I was very upset, but I remained calm. I had my hands on the steering wheel. I remained calm. I didn't make any rash moves, sudden moves. And I said what I had to say, but I was upset, but I remained calm. And so that's what you gotta do, and that's what I tell my youngest son. You gotta He said, "Well, Mom, they were stopping us for no reason. This, that." I said, "I get that, man. I get it." I said, "But you got to remain calm. You can't go popping off at the police." I said, "Because what if he had killed you? He had shot you or whatever. That could have been a whole lot worse than you just spending the night in jail, you know? And these cops around here, they know better. They know better. But they're racist. They're just as racist here than it. Now, I'm not saying the whole police force. I'm not saying all the cops here, because you got some good cops. Not saying all police officers are like that, because you got some good police officers. I've been stopped by some good police officers that did their job. They followed the proper procedure. So I'm not saying they're all that way, but there are some that they do racially profile around here. Just like they do in a lot of other places. But I told my son that could have been a whole lot worse. And so there's a certain way that we have to conduct ourselves. This is ridiculous. I mean, of course, I always talk to police officer when I get stopped. I know there's a couple times I didn't have my renew my license like I should have, in a timely manner like I should have, and I got stopped, and it's very nice, and especially if I know I'm in the wrong. If I know I'm in the wrong, then I'm gonna be very nice and respectful. I'm respectful anyway. And sometimes they'll let you go. So that's what I keep trying to tell my son. Man, you gotta, you know, that goes a long way. Even if you feel like you're in the right and they're in the wrong, you still got to remain calm, you know? So I just thank God that it didn't result in any violence or anything like that. But I'm just like I said, you know, this I'm just tired of black people being mistreated by the police. I'm tired of black people being racially profiled, and they have these stand your ground laws are designed to, you know, that just basically gives white people a license to just kill black people, you know. Or well, we've seen them in our neighborhood, and we suspect that they were getting ready to rob somebody, so we shot them. See, we get to see the thing is people don't understand. They can come to our neighborhood that we can't go to theirs. We go to their neighborhood, then they think we up to no good. But they can come in our neighborhood, and we don't think anything of it. See, they can come to our neighborhood. We won't bother them. But when we go to their neighborhood, we got to worry about being shot, and the police called on us and everything else. I see a nice neighborhood. Sometimes I love real estate, and I love looking at beautiful homes. And instead of driving through the neighborhood, I'll just get on Google Maps and you know go look at it that way. I'll look at it on Google Maps because yeah, if they see you black person, and you driving in the area, sometimes they'll call the police on you. Yeah, yeah. See, we can't go to their neighborhood, but they can come to ours. And see, they come to ours. We don't bother them. See, we don't bother them when they come over there. But if we go to theirs, oh Lord, especially don't be a black male in a predominantly white area. Mm-mm. It might not go too well for you. So I mean, I'm just over it. I'm tired of it. I'm just so sick of racism. I pray that, and I know it probably won't go away until Jesus come back. It looks like we're headed in that direction. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. It's still alive and well. I see that we're quarantined, but racism is not quarantined. It just seems like no matter what goes on in this country, people still be doing the same stuff. People still have the same attitudes. You would think this would be a time for people to get it together. This would be a time for people, if you're racist, okay, maybe I need to change my ways. No, you know. I guess some people just oh well. And then here in Michigan, we have our governor that's excited to extend the stay-at-home order to the 28th, I think it is. She decided to extend it to the 28th, and they were up in front of her house, in front of the Capitol. A bunch of white guys were in front of the Capitol, in front of her house with guns and stuff like that. And I'm like, how are they allowed to be in the Capitol with guns? And they showed a picture of this white guy. He was all in the police officer's face. I said, now if that was a black man, he oh, now if that was black folks, black people wouldn't get away with that. Me no way we would get away with that. But why is it okay for them to do it? Why is it okay for them to stand in front of a governmental building with guns? Now I know my right, Second Amendment, whatever they, First or Second Amendment. Okay, well you shouldn't be allowed to stand in front of a governmental building with a gun. They wouldn't let nobody else do it of color. They wouldn't let people of color do it. I mean, some of the things that these guys were doing, they would not let black men get away with. But when they do it, it's okay. See, see that double standard. Everything is always a double standard. This is So that's my rant. I just wanted to rant and get that off my chest. Sometimes I just need to get things off my chest. And I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm tired of being discriminated against because I'm black. I'm a black woman. And I'm tired of being stereotyped because I'm a black woman. And I really hate being stereotyped by my own men. Let's keep it 100. You know, and I just don't assume that I'm a certain way just because I'm a black woman. Get to know me first and then form an opinion of me. You know what I mean? I'm a human being. You know? We're all human beings. And we're not all the same. Everybody's different. You know? And what really breaks my heart, there's a lot of good black people out here. There's a lot of really, really good black people out here. And it's just ridiculous. We all deserve to be treated with respect. I treat everybody with kindness. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what color you are. I treat everyone with respect and I treat everyone with kindness. I don't care what color you are, whether you white or what race you are. I don't care. I treat everybody with respect and I treat everyone with kindness. I treat everybody, and that's what the Bible say. You treat everybody, you love thy neighbor. You treat everybody with love and respect. That's the way I've always treated people. I treat that's how I treat people. And and then if everybody followed that same rule, this world would be a whole lot different. You know, how you gonna treat somebody differently because of their race, because of how they look? I'm over it. Okay, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I just had to. This is a rant. I just had to get that off my chest because I was kind of ranting to myself about it this morning. So, seeing some things on the news and as if we don't have enough to deal with this pandemic. We got enough. We already got enough. We got to deal with. And then we got to hear these reports. Racist reports on top of. We always got us black people. We always got to deal with on top of everything that's going on, either in our personal lives or in the world or whatever that's affecting all of us. We always got to deal with that on top of racism. We always got to deal with whatever's going on, and we always got to deal with racism in addition to that. And then they don't understand why, black people get angry and we get upset. And well, you would get upset too if somebody treated you differently because of your race, you know, or because of the way you look, and you didn't even ask to be born that race in the first place. Some people will never get it. But that being said, hit me up in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so every time I do a video, you will be notified. Sometimes YouTube has a problem with that, but hopefully you'll be notified when I do a video. And make sure you hit the like button. Stay tuned. I got some more interesting video topics coming up. Peace and love. This is Sweet Jill.